Släktskapsgamackna pastösningen silversöda sivnemackna we bo orsnär religionsnär svitsesedia.
Welcome to Top 5 Comics Podcast, people talking about comics, pop culture, and events. Lurking in the dark alleys of Gotham, we have a Curtis.
Obligatory Costner butt shot.
The fastest man alive, Ross.
You see all the lightning?
Coming from the deep south of Atlantis, Mike.
I need whiskey.
Deep within the Isle of Themyscira, CBS.
Because I like the ladies.
Or you're being held prisoner.
Both are true.
And trolling around the seedy chat rooms with Cyborg, Rob. I sometimes type in all caps.
All the time. It's hard to tell when you're yelling.
It's binary.
It's true. I use 3 exclamation points most of the time. It's because I'm excited.
He yells in ones and zeros.
Perfect. Oh my god. Okay, welcome to Top 5 Comics Podcast. This is going to be episode number 102, part 2. Oh yeah. Man, as mentioned in the previous episode, we're going to talk about Justice League today. And that's basically going to be it for the the show and stuff, right, Ross? We're talking about Justice League?
Talk about Justice League.
Alright.
Any news since then? No? Dog pile?
We're going to skip the dog file. We'll skip the dog file for this episode because you should have listened to the previous episode which had actual news. Ross hates being on the bottom.
You could have used that opportunity for a cheap plug for Jack and Jester.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
What's their new hit single going to be called again?
Oh, man, I forget.
Charging the mother box?
Yeah. Rebooting the mother box.
Jump-starting the mother box.
Jump-starting the mother box.
Yeah,
That's what this episode should be called.
We don't name the episode. This is a lot more work.
Oh, my bad. This episode's called Jump-starting the mother box. Hit it.
Yeah, alright, that's what I like. Move into Justice League stuff, Ross?
Yep, let's move into some Justice League Ragnarok.
That's what we were originally going to make this, is mix 2 things together.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Helmsworth and Ben Affleck high-fiving each other on the streets.
Chest bump.
Yeah. I don't see why not. Hulk and Superman no high-five in there, I guess. Trying to hide their Hulks from each other. No? We do get a lot of shirtless Cable. Right?
Right.
Not a lot, just at the beginning of his scenes.
There you
the
go.
movie.
Well, almost the beginning. I mean, it's not the very
He's not shirtless.
It's more towards the middle of the movie,
There you go.
actually.
More towards the middle.
Well, his abs were so powerful they just ripped the suit right off him.
I sense jealousy.
Don't need a stinking suit.
They only needed to burst into flame and then they would have been fine.
Right.
Been just like the first Superman.
He looks so peaceful.
Man of Steel.
His hair wasn't long there either.
No.
I expected it to be long.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ross, you want to kick it off, Justice League?
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool characters in Justice League. I loved the new characters. So, new characters being Aquaman, Cyborg, Flash.
New for the movie verse, okay.
Right.
With you now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Those are our 3 big new main characters. And Aquaman and Flash are pretty different from what we've had in comic books before. Cyborg is pretty similar, I think, to at least his origins.
Sure.
Yeah, anyhow. So Aquaman is more like Surfer Dude Aquaman than he ever has been before.
I equate him more to like a biker.
Yeah, I can see
Biker
that too.
Aquaman.
He's very metal.
Yeah.
Like, everything he says and does is like, biker guy. Metal.
Yeah, you got that's true.
His look is surfery a little bit, but...
Right.
His look is Polynesian.
It's because of guys.
That's what I'm saying. He looks Polynesian.
Okay.
With the tattoos, the Maori, is that how you say it? Or is that an eel? Maori eel? Maori tattoos.
Maori tattoos, there you go.
He might have eel tattoos. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Anyhow.
Nobody's seen that.
Hey!
Little tadpole.
Keep your Hulk in your pants, Hulk.
All right. Sorry.
So, I guess the first thing, they deal with Aquaman's powers a little bit. He gets asked if he talks to fish.
Heck yeah.
And he responds, it's more like I talk to the water. Which, not the best response, but one, I guess, maybe that more people would understand.
As he says, he talks to the water, or the water talks to them.
Maybe that's it. The water talks to them.
I think he said the water talks to him.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think you're right.
It was a dumb idea.
But more importantly than that, this is what I love that they did about this movie. Rather than focusing on Aquaman's powers of fish telepathy, they focused more on his super strength and just being like a tough character in general. And the fact that he uses his trident, or quindent, a lot in this case. A really cool version of Aquaman. I like Jason Momoa just fine as that character. Flash is Barry Allen Flash. But
by name.
But he acted more like the Wally West version of Flash, which I think that's because, people watched the cartoon and Wally West was the cartoon version and you need a comedy character, so why not?
Right.
You just saying that made me think that he was acting like, who's the dude on Scooby-Doo?
Shaggy?
He was acting like Shaggy to me, now, looking back on it.
A little bit, yeah.
That was
I
weird.
see that.
Sorry.
But I liked it just fine. I agree, you probably did need kind of a funny character in there. And the way he uses his powers works with that pretty well. And then, like I said, Cyborg, he's not really the funny Cyborg, from like the Teen Titans cartoon. But this is the start of him. He just became Cyborg. And so he's still dealing with being part robot.
Understandable. Yeah, as far as setup's concerned, we get origin story for basically all of them. Basically.
Kind of. You get like partial
whether they make
origin
any sense
stories.
or not is another question, but yeah.
I think you get an interaction of Aquaman's origin. We only talk about the Flashes, but we do see Cyborgs as well.
Cyborgs is the best one of the group.
You see his, we talk about the Flashes, and then we visit Aquaman's.
Yeah.
Right.
I really feel strongly that they were basing these all on the idea that they were going to make their own movies. And so they didn't want to give anything away for most of these guys' origins in that film.
I think so too. From what I've heard, there was a huge cut in this movie. Like, it was a 3-hour-long movie, and they cut it down to 2 hours. A lot of that cut was Cyborg, which is kind of funny, because he still got probably the most of the origin. But you actually saw him as Victor Stone football player before the accident and everything, I guess, previously.
Yeah,
so.
and in the trailers, you definitely see scenes of that that are not in the regular film.
We also got pieces of, so we saw Iris West. There was a scene of Flash rescuing Iris West. And there was also a scene of when Aquaman goes to get the armor and the quindent. There's a scene of him talking to Volko. That probably would have explained more of his.
Would have made it make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But, bit part, so I can see him dropping it. There's other things that have been said afterwards that make no sense at all to me, but that's alright. I'll talk about that in a second, I guess.
And speaking of, like, those kind of extra characters, we also got Mira in this movie. Which was awesome. Yeah, it was way cool. They used her powers, like, perfect. Character-wise, it's a pretty different thing than the comics, too, but who knows Mira other than us?
Yeah, people who read comic books, you wouldn't know the difference.
And one of the others that I loved in there was our new Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, he was pretty good, too.
Yeah, awesome Commissioner Gordon in that.
I was fairly pleased with him. He was awesome. Mr. Mike, what do you think about the characters?
All right.
All right, moving on.
No, it's like Ross said, the Aquaman, when I first heard about it, it's like, I don't know, man, it's not he doesn't look, Aquaman's always had one look, pretty much, throughout his entire existence. And this is like, way on the other end. But, he pulls it off. It was good.
Well, he did look like a pirate for a while in the comics. He had the hook hand, crazy beard, and
yeah, but
Green Arrow's trash hair.
He pulled it off. It was really good.
Yeah.
Even though the Flash, I kind of thought was probably a bit.
He was a lot more teenager looking.
Yeah, he's like
it's like he just
the Marvel's equivalent of Spider-Man. He's a kid. He's just starting out. Where in the books, the Flash is every bit as accomplished as everybody else.
Right.
So that kind of threw me off a little, but it's fine. Like you said, they did need some comedy in there. He did that well.
Yeah, he's definitely the comedy relief for the whole thing.
And then Cyborg, they basically pulled his origin right out of the book.
Yeah, it's pretty close to New 52 origin, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, new characters worked really well. And I have to say, Superman finally felt right. For the most part.
I was going to say that. As far as returning characters, this is the best Superman's ever been, I think.
In the new.
I would say
in canon?
I would say in general, this is the best in movies we've seen Superman, because you see all his powers, he uses all his powers, and he acts like Superman.
His attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it only took him 2.5 movies.
And so it just felt right.
Yeah.
And that was nice to see.
I'll give you that. I'm pretty impressed when we get the ice breath and we get the heat vision and we get the super strength and the worrying about people, because that's a power. And we get that in this movie. The other movies, not too much.
In other movies, you see heat vision, but you don't see him not using the heat vision on random buildings with people in them.
Well, using the heat vision just in general, but we don't see him save anyone. Oh wait, hang on, that weird family. That's stupid. Yeah, they should have run. Stupid.
Yeah, they put together really well the group of characters. And Mira, of course, I don't have to go into that again. That's cool. Very cool.
I would give you I don't mind the way the characters are set up in general. I like Momoa just fine. I think I do hate the explanation of his powers, because they had a perfect opportunity to just lift the lines from the Jeff Johns issue 1 of Aquaman for New 52. And even if you need to shorten it to be more Momoa-like, I guess, would be a way to describe it. You could easily just have him say it's mind control, dude, and leave it at that. But they didn't do that. They elected that to go with some other weird water blah 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 that has no explanation and makes absolutely no sense as far as I'm concerned. The water talks to him.
I think it's more like that we see later on, where he can slightly control water. Is he can push them in the right direction that he wants them to go.
Well, then that's a different thing too. If they're going to go that direction with it, then his powers aren't even the powers that we get in the books.
You have to understand, they had to be very careful with that.
No, I agree entirely.
Or they're right back to square one, back to Super Friends. I mean that.
Which is another reason why if they would have just lifted that line from Johns.
I mean, you got to be careful.
Would have been perfect.
That was way too hard to bring him back. I mean,
right. No, agreed. Agreed.
I wasn't considering what Curtis had said before, but I think there's a good chance of that. He might just have water controlling powers similar to Mira's in this, as opposed to fish telepathy.
Mind control? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess that'd be different from the comics too. Which if they're going completely different, then they might have just made a new character and called him something different.
Yeah, like Trident.
Trident, that'd been fine.
Water guy.
I think isn't that Gum?
I don't know.
Blubber Boy? No.
Tempest?
There you go. Tsunami. It would also fit with his complexion.
That was a wrestler's name.
Yeah.
that might offend some people, though.
Whatever. Tsunami. New character. Water power just like Aquaman, but looks like Jason Momoa. And then you can say go. That's just me talking. That's just me talking.
Then
about
you
it.
can't
I like the way he
Aquaman as a
works just
franchise
fine.
and stuff,
No, whatever. Just call it something different. I mean, now you got him in the Justice League. You want to see some more Tsunami? You see him in the Tsunami movie.
Can we move on to Rob?
Wait 1 second, probably.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah, I guess so. Everybody else I thought that just fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still pieces that are problems with all of them. I mean, as far as like setup's concerned, and Flash. And I like how you mentioned he's like the Spider-Man character, because in my head I'm like, so if he got his powers before he ever had the accident in the lab at the police station with the lightning, then does that mean he was on a field trip with the kids and he got bit by a radioactive lightning spider?
Yes.
Oh, so he is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Grace, you want to go first or want Rob to go first?
Speaking of moving on, Rob?
Rob?
I think it's aquatic telepathy is what you were looking for.
I like Ross's version.
For that one. I'm just glad he didn't shoot water balls underwater. Because there's Lego figures that have him doing that, and I was kind of like, ooh, that's a dangerous road.
That was like old Filmation cartoon
Yes.
Aquaman powers.
Yes.
Super Friends.
Honestly, Aquaman was the one that I wasn't worried about. I do feel he's a little broed up by the time the film is done. but I think he does really well. Flash, I actually was prepared to really not like, because his other performances in other films, I thought he comes off as really stiff and not very interesting. Like, okay, there's a lot of people like Big Bang Theory, but he feels like Sheldon to me in my mind. He came off great. I really liked the Flash in this film. I thought they did a great job with him. I loved how he was running around doing stuff. There was times they forgot about him in scenes, but I thought for the most part, he was actually really good. Cyborg, I think, was the character that got lost. And it's probably because a lot of stuff was cut for him. Because he was probably very much a human character. And then he's got the robotic period in the middle that we see the most of. Where he's kind of like, am I a man, am I a machine? It's funny that you think that I'm the monster dad, kind of character. And then he kind of comes back to life at the end of the film. I didn't know that stuff was cut, so I just kind of felt like he was robot. Like, I didn't feel like he was as much of a full character. And I hate that he has a sound effect every time he's moving in the movie, except for when he has to be a secret ninja. And then no one knows he's there. Like, those parts bothered me. But for the most part, I thought he came across great. He still doesn't look very good. The CG is pretty rough. But Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman actually comes off really well, like you guys were saying. I mean, I think for me, getting past Christopher Reeve is just hard. Like, he's my Superman. And so when I think of Superman, I always think of him. But I thought that they really needed a second movie to sell Gable anyways. Cavill. Sorry. To sell Superman, they should have done a second movie. I think before they got involved in the Batman versus Superman stuff. But it is nice to see him a little bit more like the Superman that we expect. The only thing I'm going to throw out, and then I'm going to pass it to Curtis, is out of all the Batman choices, all the suits that have ever been made, how do you get the nose wrong? Like, the whole movie, I'm looking at his nose like, what were you guys thinking?
That didn't bother me at all.
Full on, like, cover for the nose? Weird. Alright.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Like, instead of having just the top, his whole nose is covered with...
Like under here?
Yeah, underneath is covered, and it's like pushed out to give him more flair on his nose. Maybe it was supposed to make it look like a real bat nose, but it looks real stupid.
I guess I didn't know.
Maybe because Aquaman smells like fish.
Maybe. Maybe the next time you see me, that's all you'll be able to notice, because that's all I could notice every time I saw Ben Affleck.
I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah, it drove me nuts.
Huh. My turn?
Yes.
I think the person they nailed the most was Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. She was almost exactly what I think about in the comics. She kind of actually held the team together. Aquaman acted like Batman to me. That's the way Batman acts. Doesn't give a crap about nothing. Batman was acting like Superman until they brought Superman back.
Totally agree.
So the characterization was just off for me in the whole thing. Another problem I had was Flash. Every time he uses his power, and I know we're connected to the Speed Force, lightning. How is he supposed to be fast and sneak up on you when you know he's coming because of the lightning?
I think the lightning was for us.
I don't
think people don't actually see it. I think we see it because we're seeing his point of view.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I thought that until the very end in their race scene, and he uses it. He snaps his finger and shoots lightning out to light the...
So I think he's connected. The Speed Force is lightning to him. I think that's what it is, and he uses that and harnesses that as potential energy, and then changes it to kinetic energy and causes the whole lightning. Wait, strike that, reverse it.
No, you got that right.
Yeah.
Okay. What else was I going to say? Something dumb because nobody else cares.
That's not true.
No, honestly, there's a lot of the same things I kind of thought.
Okay. Oh, and when they bring Batman back, or Superman, I don't understand, and I don't know where I'm going with this right now. Anyway, it just didn't feel right to me when they bring him back.
Which part? Was it that they had to bring him back to the embryonic fluid chamber inside the Kryptonian ship?
You mean the method that they brought him back?
It seemed off. They brought him back. They didn't even explain, because obviously in the comic books he can take himself down to almost dead to regenerate himself. Why didn't they just go off that and stop using this stupid embryonic fluid mother box? I know it had to be a point of plot, but it just seemed off, and it seemed like it was very contrived.
Yeah, it seemed like one of the many things in this film that could have been done a lot better.
A lot simpler.
That too.
But they had to tie it all together. And why use Steppenwolf?
Yeah. Well, I understand why they use Steppenwolf, I think. But just to that scene again, didn't it all tie it together when that they didn't even bother to take the photo off of his body
And
so that you could see Kevin Costner again?
yes, and
They're all talking about how weird it is, and yet they're like, nah, just throw his ass in the water.
they displayed lightning powers from the Flash again. That's how he used it.
Yeah, built the charge into the...
That
other
doesn't.
box.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Which goes to show that if you have an ancient artifact, just bury it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it. Don't put guards.
Well,
Bury it out in the field. Put some.
No one
put some
knows where it
leaves
is,
over
and
To-
no one can find it.
they were Vikings. They are very smart.
No, but yes, they were the best.
It
hidden
worked the best
device.
of all.
It doesn't make sense. They found the one on Themyscira,
Yeah.
Because
right?
they knew where the arms
Like
were.
that. They
Makes
found the
sense.
one underwater.
Yep.
They know where the aqua
How are
people
they going to know where Atlantis is? We can't even find that crap.
No.
You know what I mean? And they're from a different planet.
Just bury it.
It must be a GPS on their new technology. I don't know. And
the
then
ones buried in the ground.
to try and find one buried in the ground
Yep.
that's like 3 feet down,
That's tough.
and then
They probably put their filth on top of it
They
too.
didn't have the shovel, was all. So
Nah.
Steppenwolf brought his axe. But
it was
they didn't
just
have a shovel.
it was
shovel.
just insane. And then they don't even show where they got it from.
No.
They just it magically appeared.
I'm assuming that
The human one you're talking.
Yeah.
Well,
Star Labs.
yeah. They didn't they find it
Star
previous
Labs
to
is what
Batman
happened.
vs
They
Superman.
used it, yeah.
It showed up in the last movie.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Who found it?
I don't know if they say
That's
who
the
found
thing.
it.
Who found it and why and how?
But Cyborg's dad was who had it.
Which, funny enough, right? That dude was in Terminator.
Yeah.
That guy needs to stop playing professors because all bad kind of shit happens to him.
Yeah, he generally
He's the guy
wanted
that made
dead.
Skynet. So
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's responsible for a lot of bad things.
So anyway, can I move on to other stuff?
Si, senor.
You mentioned crappy CGI.
Well,
In the last
Ocean,
one?
yes.
This was terrible CGI in this one. The Batman or the Superman thing, because obviously, I don't know if you know, but the reshoots, he was already doing Mission Impossible 6, had a mustache or something.
Yeah.
So they had to CGI his face. This is in black and white, I think, right?
It's
At the
not-
beginning?
not black and
No.
white. It's like it's being shot on a cell phone.
Cell
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It looked like, honestly,
terrible.
it looked like a newspaper clipping was moving.
Now, what I've been told about that, because I haven't seen it in a different theater, because God forbid we have a theater that doesn't have terrible projectors. 4K theaters, because one of the guys in the store went and saw it in Denver, and when he saw it in Denver, he said you couldn't even tell. And he'd seen it here prior to that.
But that was a major point of contention to a lot of people on the
There's a
internet.
whole lot of people.
So you can't stop blaming this theater.
I'm telling you, this theater is terrible.
This theater had nothing to do with that.
I will admit that I actually really liked that scene though.
I liked the scene, but I hated what it looked like.
Yeah. Although it did come to me later when he's describing what hope means, and it's like a river running through stuff. I started thinking later on, like, which dad told you that? Because it wasn't Jarrell. Unless he told
I
you
think
later as a creepy ghost.
I think it's a mix of the two. So I think Jor-El told him the river part, and then, told him about,
Jonathan?
it's like losing your car keys. That's what that was.
It's possible. I wonder if he doesn't know what it means. And he
He's
just
making
threw
it
out
up
like,
as he
You're
goes.
just making shit up.
maybe Kevin Costner's like, it means hope.
Wouldn't be Kevin Costner that said that.
Well,
It'd be-
okay, Kent.
No, that's...
Die in a tornado.
The guy in Tornado wouldn't know it means hope.
It could have been something he made up, is what Rob's saying. He could have seen the S and been like, no, that means hope, son.
I thought Jarrell would have told him that.
Well, see,
He
I don't,
did, I think.
It's hard
but
to say, you know. I mean, I think probably he did. I would have to watch the movie again, and I'm not going to.
I think that'd be hilarious.
I'd watch the beginning of it.
Yeah, because the Jarrell parts are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Jarrell.
We need more adventures of Jarrell.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
it was amazing.
All the Jarrell
I
parts?
thought
Great.
that movie hit, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be the best movie ever. And then we go to Earth, and I'm like, oh, this is the crappiest movie ever. Anyway, back to what are we talking about?
Justice League.
Justice League. Outside of that, I think the CGI was okay. Most of the CGI. Except for Steppenwolf. His face was very clay.
The Steppenwolf stuff was a little rough.
Right.
I don't want to like ruin anybody's opinion on this, but like Steppenwolf to me looked terrible.
I agree.
It was like you took everything that was wrong with Doomsday, and then you went, let's just make him a Lord of the Rings elf.
Yeah.
And put a horn beard on him.
He reminded me of a Power Rangers villain.
Yeah, no, totally. I can totally see that. He just didn't make any sense. And honestly, all you have to do is put a guy with like a beard in there, and you'd be fine. You get Mickey Rourke to be Steppenwolf.
Yeah, he already looks like that. They don't need CGI.
Yeah.
This is naturally a mess.
It would totally have sold him better because he didn't look like a CGI mess.
Oh, yeah. Jason Momoa playing Aquaman, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of crap with Jason Momoa in it, and he's very rigid all the time.
Right.
And it looks like he's forcing his way to act. This one, it seems like more naturally for him, and I don't know if it's because of his cavalcade of people that he has acting with him that made him step up his game, but I genuinely enjoyed him in this movie. And when he sat on Wonder Woman's truth rope, one of the best scenes ever.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The characterization between Flash and Aquaman is supposed to be Flash and Green Arrow. That's what that felt like was happening between those two.
See that.
What else? I think that's it. The Flash part kind of bothered me. I liked him as a character. I think it fit within the dynamic of the team, but it just seemed more Spider-Man. I did. Really more Spider-Man.
Yeah,
He's so much further behind in development than everybody else. It just didn't seem like it's out of sync.
For him to be klutzy like that is very, very Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just drawn. I think
Flash is if not one of the strongest characters in the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Flash he can do some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but you'd never know it by watching the show.
And I hope that we develop that further in his movie if we have one.
In theory, there was supposed to be one of those already, but...
But why not Calabac?
I was thinking that too.
You know, why not him?
Yeah, he would have worked too.
Way better, I think.
I think probably because you can kill Steppenwolf and it doesn't matter, which they didn't do.
But even bringing him on didn't matter.
That's true.
You know?
But I mean, would it have mattered that much more for Calabac, I guess?
To me, it would have. But I'm a comic nerd.
As a comic fan, Calabac would make more sense in general.
Or even the Fatal Furies. Having three of them against them.
Too many characters to try to juggle when you're...
But it would have been three females, and that's what people clamor for.
Had the character that made a very short cameo involved Green Lantern. You saw that part.
Yeah.
Then it would have been even.
At the beginning, when they were fighting,
and
the ring flies off.
Yeah,
but they already had to cut an hour worth of footage out to hit their time point, and then we still shortcutted everybody's origin. I mean, Aquaman's has resulted in 5 lines of dialogue. Flash's is not really given to us at all because I guess they think you watch the TV show.
They mention it.
They mention
but that's
it.
It's very vague.
Yeah,
he's been struck by lightning, but I think that was all they said.
The Aquaman movie is gonna take care of all that. You don't want to retread all that.
Right.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
It will.
Well,
but what about the Cyborg movie? Because we got most of his origin in this.
I don't think there's actually one scheduled.
Yeah. Oh, I thought there was.
Yeah, I thought there was too.
There is. It's kind of hanging out there right now.
Because I remember seeing it on a calendar of all the movies till 2020 or whatever.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it was on there, and the Green Lantern Corps was on there.
Yeah. And then that got nixed.
Right, everything's in flux now.
I think everything's been readjusted. I think so far the only ones that are like a for sure thing are Aquaman because it's done,
right.
and Shazam.
Aquaman's done?
Yeah.
The primary filming for it is. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. I'll be darned. They must have went right into it.
It comes out next winter.
Winter is coming.
Now, just on Aquaman real fast, who bought him swimming? Like when he was doing the turbo swimming. Did anybody else think that was like ridiculous? I mean, that was another bad special effects for me.
I can buy that. Do you mean just because he was doing it, or because of the way it was done?
I wish he had a little bit more motion. He almost looked like he was flying through the water, and with the bubbles that were coming out, it looked like he was propelling himself. And with water pressure. Let's just say.
But I can buy that if I buy into my theory of him controlling water.
Okay.
So that's what I think he can do is control water.
I wish he had a little bit more wiggle. You know? That's just what I'm saying.
with what's his name riding his back.
That's Green Lantern.
Oh, my bad.
Green Lantern.
My bad.
No, I just a little more dolphin. You know.
See, I think that would look comical.
Yeah.
I think it would look comical.
I found that already comical.
I wasn't bothered.
To me, it
by
was like a torpedo
But
through the
then
water.
I'm kind of my opinion's skewed because Aquaman's in a movie, so I'm willing to let a few things go.
Same here.
Being one of my favorite characters,
Right.
You know,
I could give a crap less about Aquaman being in a movie, but I can buy everything that they did with Jason Momoa.
I think he did a great job.
And how can they talk underwater? That's my question.
Okay, so there's actually kind of a cool thing there. So when Mira makes the air bubble around him, supposedly that's because he doesn't know how to talk underwater yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's why she makes the air bubble around him so that they can communicate.
That's not going to be the case in the Aquaman movie.
Is that-
No, he figures it out.
Is that conjecture on the community's part, or was that brought up from film developers?
That was the actress that played Mira.
Oh, Amber
So,
Heard?
Yeah, she's the one that said that in an interview.
And the
so,
director of the Aquaman movie said there will be no air bubbles.
yeah, there
in
won't
this
be
movie.
anything like that.
See, and again, I think every Atlantean can control water to some extent to be able to talk underwater.
Right, I could see that.
Huh, that's a weird skew and like a new power for him to have, but alright.
It's not new.
He's always.
Well, you have to explain it somehow. I mean,
I think if he says, I talk to fish, no, he doesn't. But that's the easiest way to explain what he does.
I'm glad they added the eye roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he had a pretty fun role reversal there with him and Batman, where he makes fun of Batman more than Batman gives him crap for being Aquaman.
He does dress like a bat.
I dig it.
Yeah, not having any powers.
Right. Yeah, he was very modern, as opposed to all the other.
Oh, Aquaman?
Yes,
Yeah.
very modern.
That's true.
So, my man, who grabbed him?
Cyborg.
Cyborg,
I
yeah.
loved that. That was my favorite scene in the whole movie.
It was awesome, my man. And then he rides that dude down like a surfboard.
Yeah, and then on the Batmobile,
Yeah.
previous to that, right on the side of the Batmobile, yeah.
He was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie, he was a pretty badass in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Does he? He doesn't fly though in it. He just
No,
jumps.
He does the
Just
super
jumps.
jump.
Right.
No flight yet.
Anything else that I haven't
don't
beat a
think
dead
Aquaman-
horse on?
Well, there's only one character that hadn't been mentioned that made a brief appearance
Who?
that I thought was pretty cool. Slade Wilson.
Oh yeah, at the end.
Oh, at the very end?
Yeah.
They
I
nailed,
think that's
they
gonna-
nailed the look.
Yes, and I think that's going to be very cool. Who was the actor in that? Do you remember?
I can't remember his name. This came up a long time ago, and it's been like, well, is he going to play Deathstroke in the Batman movie? Is it? Oh, not now. Well, maybe. Not now. No, maybe.
Because I think the dude that played him in Arrow was really good.
Manu Bennett?
Manu Bennett?
Yeah.
He was really good.
I can't remember this guy's name, but he's been attached to that role for a long time.
Huh.
I wish the eye patch didn't look so goofy.
And
On Thor?
No, on
Yes.
the
Okay.
according to something, one of those articles I read, that Zack Snyder gave that final scene away a long time ago.
Did he
So he
really?
had like a Twitter picture, and he had like the
Oh.
storyboards in front of him, the
Joe
drawings.
Maniello?
Yeah,
Manganiello?
but he had the drawings in front of him, and if you really look, that's that scene.
Oh, that's
And they
crazy.
pointed it out. So he gave that away a long time ago.
It's really
But
quick.
You'd have never looked.
And I was just trying to figure out the name of the actor that played him.
Yeah.
I also got all the actors that have voiced him in cartoons and stuff. Ron Perlman voiced him in the original Teen Titans cartoon.
My man. Awesome. That's great. Good old boy.
I wish that last scene would have been different, though. Like quite a bit different. Luther making a League of Their Own joke.
That's the one character out of the DCU that I can't.
I can't buy him either.
Him as Luther, I just can't.
He's too soft spoken,
He's too young.
and he just looks funny. That's why I'm telling you he is Alex Luthor, not Lex.
Well, yeah,
It's his son.
he's supposed to be the junior. There's never sold hard enough to explain that or prove it, savor what's been said after the fact. They needed to call him junior during Batman Superman. Somebody needed to call him junior. I don't care if it's the senator.
And he
the
refers
lady
to his dad
senator.
and stuff. but-
He's
it's
he's Alex Luthor. He's not Lex, and he's just taking up the mantle for his dad.
Well,
I think why skip over that?
I don't know, because Batman's so freaking old. Almost did it.
Oh, because somebody cast him and paid him a giant paycheck, and they're like, what can I have this guy do?
Yeah,
And they're like,
Batman's.
how about the
that
Riddler?
old,
They're like, we're
and
not putting the
Flash
Riddler in
was that
charge.
young.
Yeah.
That's my point.
No, I agree with you. It's just
I mean,
The
I
whole-
liked it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to.
the whole
I'm
universe is just out of joint.
out of balance.
Yeah.
Well, but there's one thing that's actually falling apart for me. It's Batman, and it's sad because it's not Batfleck that's the problem. It's not Affleck at all. It's the way that they're taking the role of Batman. There's nothing earned in the things that he says, but he doesn't come across as Batman. Like Curtis was saying, he comes across as if he's Superman, but he also comes across as a comic relief element, which is a little sad when it's Batman.
I would agree. I think Batman was a little bit too funny. I think the most Batman he was in the movie was when he first shows up. The first time you see Batman
Oh, on
in
top of the
Justice
roof?
League, yeah.
Yeah.
That scene felt pulled out of the '89 Batman to me.
The only thing that I really wish is when he was done with that, and the guy's like, "Oh my gosh, invasion from space," he would have bataranged him in the head or something.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead
there,
of just
too.
being like, "Oh, carry on your
see you
crime,"
later. Yeah,
Yeah, that was very. Yeah.
it didn't make sense. You know, I also thought that the sound was not to attract parademons, but it was what triggered the parademon to explode. But why do they explode and leave the Illuminati triangle? I mean, come on.
Dark Side.
I
I
guess
think one of the things that hurts the movie is
it's
the comic book elements in it that we get, but your average moviegoer, or those they're not going to understand. I mean, it's going to be very confusing, like the mother boxes and where the parademons come from. All that. I mean, it's going to be a little confusing for them, not for us.
No, that's true. That was one thing I had to explain parademons.
It's a little complicated. Might seem a little overwhelming.
I think, and I don't know if it's going to be true, but that diversion between comic book guy and movie guy is going to be less and less because they're going to make the comic books like the movies and the movies like comic
Marvel's
books.
done.
So,
Only to a certain
I
extent.
hate to see that, but
Yeah.
they better not. Well, I was talking to somebody today about that. They change Aquaman in the books, I'm done. You can't do that.
They've already been working their way towards that. They haven't changed him to Jason Momoa yet, but they definitely gave him the beard and the long hair back again to try to make him look more.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that's the one thing that's really been a staple, though, is that the comics, they don't always follow the film, and honestly, when you try to push the film into the comics, a lot of times it doesn't work. I mean, that was a lot of what happened with the new X-Men whenever Morrison was taking over, is that he was really trying to push the movie look. It just didn't work. It fell apart.
I think that had to do a lot with the art, too.
No, it didn't.
Because the art
didn't
was
hurt,
terrible then.
You know,
It's pretty quietly, so depending what he draws determines whether it's any good or not.
that's true.
X-Men probably shouldn't draw it.
No.
Superman? Sure.
I just
Batman?
I don't like
Okay.
it. I hate that.
No, I get what you're saying.
It's something that wouldn't surprise me,
Yeah. Okay, I can go with that.
But whatever it is,
and it wouldn't make any difference to it's not going to pick up a ton of readers just because it looks like the guy in the movie. It just won't. It's not. It doesn't
No,
work.
they
that way.
really are two different mediums, unfortunately.
And I don't think they're going to make him look exactly the same.
But you know what I
ever.
mean.
But yeah.
but whatever it is, here we are talking about Aquaman.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And
Well-
a lot of people are talking about Aquaman.
That, and we're talking about Aquaman in a good light,
Mm-hmm.
which was what I hoped was going to happen with this film.
I would have never dreamed. My favorite character growing up as a kid, I'm seeing him in a movie. It's awesome.
And not made fun of.
Just wait till the Aquaman movie.
Sitting in a nice seat, kicked back, watching the
Oh,
Justice League movie with Aquaman in it. Awesome.
Mike.
Going back to some of the failed effects, did anybody really like the way Cyborg looked? I mean,
I
like
didn't
him
mind
a lot
it.
better. I like him a lot better than I did when I saw that first trailer.
yeah.
The first
I don't
trailer-
really care that Cyborg.
Did he
I
not
don't
look
really care
fake
one
to
way or
you,
the other
though?
because I never have really. He's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not real fond of him.
I think it's more of a, he looked more malleable, which is what he should be because he can change proportions of his body. So it looked more fluid because it's more malleable at that point. That's how I took it.
It's quite possible.
But you're right, it did look fake.
Yeah, it looked It
But
looked badly done. To me.
how are they going to do that? They're not going to do T-1000. You
In
know
the
what
books,
I mean?
didn't they make him like that Terminator and Terminator 2? What's he? The T-9000 or whatever?
There was a point where
T-1000?
he was
Yeah,
like
T-1000.
liquid metal.
Yeah.
and
Well, that's weird.
it was weird. It was
was
bad
terrible.
time. What were you going to say, man?
Oh, well, I loved it at the end of it, right? When they're going through all the different heroes at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they do is they make Cyborg change into his more comic book TV show type appearance.
Even that like threw me off because I was like,
Really? See, I thought that was cool.
And they said booyah
Yep.
at the end.
Yep, I loved that.
I don't hate Cyborg. I just,
oh no,
I can take it or leave it.
I think you got to grow up with him. I really like Cyborg.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
I liked
too.
him in the old stuff, the New Teen Titans, like back
Yeah.
in the 80s or whatever that was.
But he was way more important in this movie than he's ever been in the comic book.
Oh, right.
I was impressed with the amount of importance they gave him. Although I wish the fist bump would have been in a different spot. The fist bump should have happened when Cyborg was going to take apart the mother boxes, and Flash was like, "Don't worry, I'll get the guys around you." That's when they should have
That
had
would've
the
been
earned
cool.
fist bump
Yeah.
instead at the end in a slow-mo riff with everybody up there.
See, that didn't bother me, but I agree. That would have been
No, it
cooler
would've just
right
been
there. Yeah.
You know, Cyborg being like, "No, I'm not going to fist bump you for digging up a dead body." That was good. That was good fun.
But I am really
Pet
glad they
Cemetery
threw
joke?
in that Green Lantern, that little bit.
Yeah.
You got to see those effects look fine.
It's true, and I hope that means that
I
that we're going to see a Green Lantern again. You know, maybe that's the idea, is they're trying to test whether or not people were so mad that they saw a Green Lantern, whether they could actually do another film with him or not. Because we know we're not going to see Ryan back as Green Lantern. I don't think that's even a possibility.
No, he's Deadpool now. That's it.
But I do wish that they wouldn't get such a big actor to be.
They're talking
Green
about
Lantern.
what's it, Army Hammer? Is that, I don't know who that is.
Oh,
He
was
played the Lone Ranger?
Yeah.
They're talking about him being the Green Lantern.
Now, just off the side, is it a problem that he looks so much like Superman? Because Armie Hammer and Gable, I think they look pretty similar. Cavill, sorry.
Unless they go with Jon Stewart, and then it's, they don't even know which version.
That's probably the way to go.
So here's my idea that everyone's going to hate, and it's not necessarily what I want to happen, but this is what I foresee happening.
Okay.
Because they've really been pushing the Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz thing in the books, and it's a more diverse cast of characters. That's who I think the Green Lanterns are going to end up being in the end.
Badge?
We should
That'd
just,
be way awesome.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Flying
Actually,
squirrel.
you know what?
Just make it
We have
killer
Rocket
all.
Raccoon is super popular. Why not?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I
Don't see
agree.
why
I
not.
think that would be awesome. But
I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I think that'd be great.
I'm an animal character guy.
Yeah, me too.
I would actually see Jessica Cruz before I see Baz.
Yeah.
I think Baz is such a mess. I don't think that they dare touch him in a movie. And it's not because of any political level. It's just that as a character, he's not very strong.
They just haven't, yeah.
I think if they do Green Lantern, it's going to have to be an ensemble cast.
Well,
That way there's no focus on just one.
yeah, if they do the core,
It is.
Then
It's,
that would be
it's
really
called
good.
Green Lantern Corps.
Well, no, I'm just saying if they bring him into the Justice League, there's going to have to be more than one for them to choose from, I'm thinking.
like the three they have in the
Yeah.
books.
It can't be Guy, it can't be Kyle, it can't be just Hal. They're going to have to bring all three of them into it, and then one of them goes off
Or
with them.
just John.
Or John.
Biggest difference of the group, and he did it just fine in the Justice League animated.
Right. So any of those
Definitely make
four,
a lot of fans
if
happy.
that's their main focus, is do it that way. And it may just come out of the Justice League or the core book or the core movie, and he's going to Earth. Let's have him go.
I don't know. It's so far out.
Yeah, I think they're so far away from that being a thing at this point that
Now that's on the shelf for the moment.
I think it's just people not giving anything a chance and taking everybody else's opinions that are going to watch it.
Right.
Well, that and after the last movie, they probably kind of soured a lot of people.
See, what I think's
Which one,
funny,
Superman,
though,
Batman?
Dawn of Justice.
Oh, yeah.
what I think's funny, though, is Wonder Woman did awesome. So you would think there would be people that were like, oh, I loved Wonder Woman. I want to see her in the next one, too.
you don't understand.
Here comes
People-
Steve.
Wonder
People
Woman.
who watch Wonder Woman are the feminists. They're like, hey,
Yes,
Wonder
that's
Woman.
skewed.
We wanted a Wonder Woman movie. That's all we care about because we can't read. So we need a Wonder Woman book.
But they didn't give a
I'm saying
crap.
all of them
They
can't.
didn't give a crap about the animated one.
No, that's a cartoon. You can't care about cartoons.
But Wonder Woman was very prevalent in Justice League.
But there's a lot of men in there.
Men in tights.
Did you see the Wonder
No,
Woman?
that's a different movie.
My wife did. It was on, and I was in the same room. I didn't watch it.
It's good.
I actually really liked
Yeah,
it.
yeah, great.
All right, it's good.
That's what
Yeah,
she said. I'm not.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's fine.
Honestly-
it's not. I don't think it's as big a deal as everybody makes it out to be.
No, it is a good movie, but it wasn't like the best thing ever.
Like the way they say.
Well,
Right.
I think the idea was like you have to directly stack it next to Superman, Batman,
Well,
and so if you do, I think
then
Wonder
Wonder
Woman's a lot
Woman is
better.
better. It's just written better.
I mean, it gave me a lot of hope for Justice League, but then Justice League happened.
personally, I think Mira was a lot hotter.
Man,
That's just my opinion.
Mike.
I just,
I thought I already shoveled enough stuff on top of the feminist with my mouth. And
I don't like Gal
shoveled it.
Gadot, but she played it very well.
Right.
and she does a good job.
She played it very well.
Oh, sorry, just to throw this in here, with the lightning, I think they may have overplayed that because they kept playing up how fast Wonder Woman was. So they needed some kind of visual cue that said Flash is faster.
It was still dumb.
Yeah, I agree, but I do love the scene where Superman is holding the two characters and his eye is tracking the Flash. I thought that was fantastic.
That one works, and that's him within the Speed Force.
Mm-hmm.
But from an outside perspective, you should not see that lightning.
No, I totally agree.
Because if he's trying to get out of a room and come back, like at the end, and you don't see the lightning, then why? Why are we seeing the lightning?
Right. And the whole time he's in the Batcave, whenever he moves to the thing, you see the lightning go around it.
Maybe
and
it's
stuff.
just like an after effect. I don't know.
I just don't. I don't agree with us being able to see that
Right.
as a viewer. With him within the Speed Force, I get it because time's different, shit's different. So you know what I mean. But outside, you shouldn't be able to see it. Because we've seen him on the cover of comic books where he's got lightning coming off.
Oh yeah, they do put a lot of emphasis on that as a visual,
Right.
But
It's his logo.
Right, but you shouldn't see lightning. And
Yeah.
I don't know why it's such a big deal to me because it shouldn't be. But
I mean, when he's vibrating through a wall, I mean, is the lightning going to be flashing everywhere?
Right.
It doesn't work.
Well, that's because this Flash doesn't vibrate.
I
through
can live
walls.
with it though.
But he does.
he did.
Does he in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he jump starts the mother box, he goes flying through the wall.
Yeah, right.
It's like he didn't watch the movie. He jump starts the mother box. You'll never see that again in the history of your life.
You never know.
I don't know. That might be one of Jack and Jetstream's songs.
Jump start the mother box.
That's
That
actually,
might be the
Man.
name of the CD.
You got to write something
yeah.
that'll be awesome.
That's brilliant, actually. Jumpstart the mother box.
But and that whole theory of him, you got to touch it right when it hits the water. So dumb. Why can't it be submerged in the water so you can touch it? It just doesn't make sense to me, man. Let's.
Well, that one was
I'll
It's a-
agree.
it's a
with
plot
what you were
point.
saying. Why couldn't he have just recharged over time? Let it be simple.
I honestly, it would have been a much more impactful thing had they gone we gotta bring
All
back
that
Superman.
made me think of is that stupid shit with Zod.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of. It's like, oh, here we go.
Had they gone to resurrect Superman and he was gone already, would have made a much more impactful moment.
Oh, I agree.
So
I mean, you already were showing at the end of the last one when they bury him and the dirt starts floating in the air.
And when he said, "Why won't you let me die?" Did he said that right?
Yeah.
You won't let me live. You won't let me
Yes.
die.
What the heck?
I don't think
That
much
doesn't
of
make
that
any sense.
part made sense to me. So
I think it was supposed to be selling the idea that his mind was addled and he just wasn't being completely coherent. However, that would have been the only point in the whole movie that I think you could have had a good joke that would have paid off and made the Batman Superman stuff a little less offensive had before Batman called in the big guns, the moment where Superman was about to throw him into the cop car, he would have been like, "Remember Martha." That would have been a great payoff because it would have been, you would have had a moment where they could pause and then he just throws him into the truck anyways because it doesn't make any sense that Martha would make
I
a
see what you're
difference.
saying.
I
Yeah.
see what you're saying.
It would be
okay.
making fun of their own bad choices for Batman versus Superman, and it would have been a great way to do it. Because it would have called it back up, and it would have shown, yeah, we saw it was dumb. Sorry.
That would have been kind of cool.
It would have
I
paid
don't
off a
know,
lot.
I don't know if people would have taken it right, though.
Then Batman's like, "Why'd you say that name?"
I don't know. It would have paid off a lot better to me than him later on being like, "Why do you hate me so much?" I don't really hate you.
It just doesn't. That whole
I don't not hate you.
I don't not hate you.
that whole
I just want to put my
exchange
hand
just
through your hair.
does not make sense to me.
No.
Which part?
You won't let me live. You won't let me die.
Yeah.
You would think he wouldn't know that. Like,
But why? Because he didn't kill him in the first one. He was
No.
about to, and then he said Martha, and then they worked together throughout the rest of the film.
Yeah. Batman has a lot of guilt for not really being responsible for Superman dying.
That's stupid.
He really didn't have anything to do with it. Superman chose to take that sacrifice to take out the really crappy Doomsday.
Well, but he had not been there whooping his ass before that. You know,
Maybe he wouldn't have been tired.
Yeah.
I guess ultimately it was Batman's fault because he brought the kryptonite spear.
Yes.
But I don't think Superman would have ever thought that way. Not the Superman that we would think of later. But I mean, there's a certain level of pet cemetery that was in there, which is why they said
maybe
that.
when you're Pet Cemetery Superman, you remember things funny. And
Well, at this point, he's soulless. I mean,
No fair.
He died and was resurrected. He's soulless.
Now, for
He's a
me,
ginger?
Or a twin.
for me, the scene right afterwards where Lois is like, "Oh, you smell good."
Oh, that
Did
was-
anybody else think that was so ridiculous? Like, what, does he smell like a baby because he was born out
yeah, that
of
didn't make any sense at all.
You
to
love
me.
the stench of death? Sweet.
Maybe.
She is a redhead.
Like, the other thing that bothered me for line-wise was like him later at the end of the film, like, "Oh, I wish you guys would have left me dead." And Cyborg complaining about his toes hurting. He just had his leg ripped off and he didn't care at all.
Well, he made that joke too, though. He's like, I don't even understand the physics of why my toes hurt. So
It's true, but like, why would Superman, who's like just gotten back to life and being like, "Yeah, okay, I get it," then make jokes about like, "Oh gosh, I wish you guys would have just left me dead"?
Because it probably hurt really bad.
In theory, but it gives him like a humanistic character, but it was
Yeah.
like a humanistic character that isn't really earned. It
I'll-
just feels really off.
I'll agree it was out of place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was out of place, but it was a funny joke.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
In the context of it, but it was still out of place.
yeah.
Because it was a very serious moment, like Thor, and then undermined by a joke.
Yeah, which I honestly I didn't feel it was as bad as like some of the Thor stuff.
Right.
But
I used to go, it was a funny joke.
You're not funny.
I liked that part too. So
That is funny.
that was weird. That didn't fit. But
Well, when your ass whooped all day. Funny.
And then when they have to save those people, and the Flash grabs that truck, like, hold on here, and then you see Superman flying by with a building.
the part
That was pretty
good.
funny.
which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
I wish that those people had a point to be in that movie at all, though.
That's what they're
The
there
family?
for.
Yeah,
That way the kids don't have to be so terrified by the crazy parademons.
it's totally manufactured.
She's going to use the bug spray to stop them.
We had to care about somebody in that
Yeah, but
area.
it was impossible to
Otherwise,
care
there's
about.
random civilians. You can't. Oh, there's people. And they're like, really? Where are the people at?
Well, what if
So
the
they have to
random?
show those people.
And I think they were showing how long it was there.
Well, what if the random people had like tried to form some kind of resistance, and then they could actually have joined with the Justice League a little bit until stuff got too intense,
I doubt
and they
that.
had to be taken away.
They return to parademons, Rob. Don't you know parademons are people?
Would have been awesome.
We eat people. Parademons are people.
Would have been better than just like, "Hey, you should care. Here's some random immigrants."
I think it was just to make you care about the civilians in general.
Yeah.
So that way they weren't just random civilians. You actually had a family of them that you got to know a little
Yeah.
bit in the movie.
Felt really forced.
Trying to mind that person.
I think it was setting up venue and time. Like,
Sure.
oh, they've been here for a long time. Oh, we know where they're at. They're right by a family in Kosovo or wherever it was. We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow.
It's true.
Oh, my bad.
Kosovo, Kokomo.
Yeah, why is it always a country like one of those countries like that? Avengers movies, no different. It's always some weird off the wall.
Because you can't destroy America
it's just kind of
Russia is where the supervillains invade when they
until
come.
they get a werebear to fight them.
That's a totally different batch of movie. That is also a totally different movie. That's Thor Ragnarok.
I do think that it's because they didn't want to have outside forces moving in, which is why they chose a small area. 'Cause, you know, otherwise you would have the military there, and Superman would have seen it on TV. He would have dealt with it.
This is old Superman, as long as it's on TV, it's real.
Maybe that was Chernobyl,
maybe.
and nobody cares about Chernobyl.
I do wish that what was being built there was more like one of the Inferno pits, on Apocalypse than just random crystal stuff. I know that was kind of Kryptonian, but
it didn't really make much sense for it to be Kryptonian, though,
Yeah.
either, so...
I also wish that when it became flowers at the end, the kid would have, like, oh, look, crazy dangerous non-native plants, and smelled it, and, like,
Yeah, let
started
me touch
coughing.
that.
So there would have been, like, an extra threat, or Superman would have been like, wow, that's really beautiful, and then started eye-beaming it because he realizes the threat of foreign plants on the planet. But instead, we just go, eh.
And he just wanted happy ending at that
Yeah.
point, I think, probably.
And have a
different
leprechaun
movie.
show up and fart out a rainbow.
So leave the flowers out of it.
You get that from a massage place.
The only reason why the flowers and stuff were there was because they made the point to talk about how the mother box could create just as well as it could destroy, and so...
I must have missed that line.
Yeah, they talk about the destruction creating other things.
That's the whole... That's why they used it to bring Superman back, too. That was the whole...
What was the point of Steppenwolf putting it in that tombstone? Like, what's the point?
He
of
was tired of carrying it.
Is that just like a filing cabinet? Like, we're just gonna put these in here and wait for the third one.
There wasn't really any point, as far as I can tell.
Was it a regeneration thing?
No, there was.
You know?
No, they just didn't want to carry him anymore, and they don't have straps.
It's like, we gotta put this somewhere. Let's put it in the ground. No, it got found last time. Let's put it in the open, in this tombstone-looking thing, and be happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
So not that I don't know if it matters at all, but wasn't that where all the crazy crystals and stuff started coming from?
Yes.
So maybe that was how they had to activate them at the start.
Maybe.
Well, except for not, because then at the end they're all just put together in that.
The one was
tombstone thing
activated
isn't there.
already.
Well, I mean to use them to
Oh.
create the stuff.
I think,
I don't
honestly, it
know.
was so you had a practical piece of a set so you could film something.
Probably.
But these in the
Well, like you
file
say,
cabinet.
he doesn't have any straps, and it's all like he was carrying them in a satchel.
Yeah.
Maybe a huge satchel for giant blocks.
Because Steppenwolf kept,
Satchel. Giant blocks. Go on.
Steppenwolf kept having to kill parademons because they were like, nice purse, Steppenwolf.
And let's talk about the end, where they say the parademons feed on fear, and then Steppenwolf gets attacked by parademons.
Yep.
And they totally bypass what was going on. Are parademons that stupid?
Yes.
They are stupid.
Are they that stupid, though?
Yes.
They're not like the mindless ones from Marvel.
Same idea.
So they
But
just
with wings.
they just attack on fear. So they're going to attack the commander that they've had for the last however long. I just found the end of that movie very stupid.
Well, evidently Steppenwolf was so afraid, he was more afraid than all of the civilians.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah, it didn't
about.
make sense.
Well, once Superman
no.
shows up and starts carrying around buildings,
It
it's
just
nothing to be afraid of.
Well, honestly, like, had Superman not shown up, there would have been no answer to that film at all.
because you see the end or the beginning when he's trying to go back into battle against Themyscira, right? Because they run him off, and he's the only one trying to go back into battle. So then he's going to be afraid of 5 individuals coming after him when he was going to go after a full army.
No, that
It's
was
supposed-
after they broke his axe or whatever.
Yeah, once
But it's
stabbed,
supposed to
it's
garner
broken.
that much fear?
Yes.
It's a pretty badass axe.
I just
You saw how terrified Thor was when his hammer broke.
yeah, but it just didn't make sense to me.
I think there was more to that, too. Like, that's what they want you to think for right now. I think there was a little bit of Darkseid calling him back at that point. And calling him back.
See,
for
that
the
makes way
parademons.
more sense
Yeah.
because he knew that he was going to keep fighting until he died. So maybe he didn't want his herald to die.
Right.
Well, I think whenever the mother box or the boom tube opens, clearly that's got to be Darkseid returning him to Apocalypse, and all he's going to herald there is an ass whooping from Darkseid. Like, as soon as he brings him back, it's not going to be like, hey, I realize you screwed up, guy. Let's go have some coffee and talk about your mistakes.
And I agree
No,
with that.
ass
But the
whooping,
way it came in at the end is he ran away back to Apocalypse.
I think the fear thing is something that, like, that Batman and Wonder Woman and them felt like what was causing the parademons to attack him. But I'm thinking that there was actually something else going on there that they'll explain later, maybe.
So he recalled by Darkseid.
Yeah,
He was past his shelf date.
right.
Okay.
And maybe that's true. I would have liked to have seen them sell a little bit more on the idea of, this is what justice is, this is what we're supposed to stand for. I mean, they have a throwaway line about that, but
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
a fan of truth. I'm also a fan of justice.
It's definitely a few steps in the right direction.
I would agree. The worst thing, though, is that if you throw those lines out, and then you have that in line with A League of Our Own,
It's a good movie.
it makes it seem like you're working on two separate scripts. Unless Luther's going to be getting a fancy dress.
So what happened to all the other parademons that were out and about?
They all went back home.
And find crazy mother box symbols all over everywhere.
It just is. It's weird to me. The end of that movie just doesn't do it for me.
Left a few.
They all
loose
flew back
ends.
up in the hole. Like the whole
Not all. You saw there was millions and millions of those things. Not all millions and millions went back up
Yes,
into
no,
them.
all of them did.
It couldn't have.
All at the same time.
Couldn't have.
No, that's
I'm fighting him, not you. Jeez.
Maybe they just disintegrated.
That's what I'm thinking, but they don't show that.
What I really want is next movie we have the adventures of Bob the Parademon that's trying to fit into a regular human life.
Looking like a bug.
That'd be awesome. He runs like a hot dog cart in New York.
Yep.
And didn't they have a parademon as part of the Suicide Squad
They did.
for a while?
Now, it's quite possible that a lot of the parademons did get left behind, and that we'll see them in later installments of Justice League or DC movies, if they continue to move forward.
I could see that. I could see that being a pretty easy thing of...
Because then their impact would still exist on the Earth.
Mm,
Sure. Like Hydra, you never know who is and who isn't.
No, you would know because they're parademons.
Right.
But
True.
if they can hide in
With
Gotham,
giant wings, right?
then they could hide anywhere. I mean, really, there's sewers everywhere. There's places
true.
people don't look everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
so it's possible.
Okay, so you guys want to score it?
yeah.
Okay, Ross, score for that movie.
My score is going to be really biased, just beforehand.
Sure.
I really, really enjoyed the movie. I see there's a lot of flaws there, but I loved it. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. I really liked all the characters, and I liked how they interacted with each other. I think, like I said, I think this is the best Superman we've ever had. Batman left some to be desired, but that scene where he first shows up totally felt like it came out of the old movies to me, and I thought that was such a cool callback. And I talked about the soundtrack to Thor. The soundtrack for Justice League was Danny Elfman coming back, which I guess was a pretty last-minute decision, and there's a lot of people upset about that. I loved it. I loved that he reused the Batman theme and that he had like a dark tone of the Superman theme when Superman came back, and he reused Wonder Woman. Yeah, I really liked the soundtrack. I felt like it fit really good for the movie. And then the movie as a whole was just a fun movie for me. So, yeah, 4.5.
Sure. Mr. Mike?
Well, my opinion's pretty skewed too. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5. I enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, there were some problems, but overall, it was fun to watch. I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
All right. Rob?
I'd give it a 2.5. I mean, it's not so bad that I would get up and leave the theater, because I didn't. There's a lot of steps that are good. I would love to have the script so I could fix it. Which, I mean, the sad thing is, there's so many moments I think they look at the face of something good, and they just go, nah.
Lost opportunities.
Yeah. And the film was riddled with it. I think that the steps between this film being what Avengers was, or what they hoped, they could get out of Justice League, it's there. They just didn't take it. And I still think you have people working on the film that have a fundamental understanding of the characters they're using. Like the new guys work pretty good. 2.5.
Huh? Guys?
Trying to equate this to Ragnarok, because I give Ragnarok a 4, and I would rather watch that. So I'd say probably about a 3.5.
That's good. It's a solid middle.
I didn't hate it.
No.
But I would want to watch Ragnarok again, and this one I'll probably see it on TV.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not going to, seek it out to watch it. I may watch it in passing. I don't know.
All right.
And yourself?
Man, score-wise, yeah, of the two of them, I did like Justice League better. And I'll give you, there are holes in both of them, up and down the wall. And maybe that's simply because Ragnarok has so much behind it that they shouldn't have screwed it up. They shouldn't have. I mean, you got 15 years of superhero movies. How in God's name have you not figured out how to make two things make sense together? The lightning lives in him. Oh, but it also tases the shit out of him, and he feels bad when he gets hit by it. Really?
Yeah, but weren't you
Really?
comfortable when you were asking yourself that
Neither of
question?
these movies I was comfortable in whatsoever.
That's probably because you
both
made
of
bad
them
popcorn.
felt bad while I was watching both these movies. That's what happens when they're both at terrible theater.
Yet you keep going back to that theater.
Well, there's only option at this point.
Or you could not watch the movies.
Only option. Yeah, I can't do that.
Why not?
It's not an option.
I need something to bitch about.
No. There's that too.
You know, our opinion is highly sought after sometimes.
You'd be surprised how many people actually ask about that.
Not about regular films, but
No.
about these films.
Yes. Sillily enough. Regular films are like, these guys don't know anything about something normal. God forbid they read an actual book. I'm like, the ones with the words, and they're like, yep. I'm like, nope, not doing it. Anyway, score-wise, I would like to watch this one again. I feel like you could fix this movie with 3 lines, maybe 4. I felt the same way about Batman and Superman, like there's easy fixes.
Don't touch the D.
What's D mean? Because that might be right, but not entirely.
Evidently the Hulk, because I've been...
Stay away from the Hulk's Hulk. Is that 4 words? How many words is that?
6.
I wasn't counting them, so...
Yeah,
5.
6?
Stay
That was pretty
away
good.
from the whole, so 6.
Six words, that's not the right words, though. Oh, man. Not the right words. Like, I like the parts of Batman. I give you there's pieces where he's very Superman-esque because Superman's not around. There's no other option. I mean, he basically follows him because there's no other choice.
But we've been following him for so long, not giving a
Right.
crap about anything.
No.
And then all of a sudden he gives a crap about something because he can't fix it.
Right.
So we need
Well,
somebody else to fix it for him.
Only reason.
Stupid.
Only reason because he couldn't fix it himself. The stuff with him and Wonder Woman I think is awesome. Like the weird, sort of chemistry there. It was pretty cool. I like how he calls out the dead boyfriend. I thought that was awesome. I like how he holds in his dislocated shoulder throughout the entire conversation until he leaves everyone else out of the room to go try to pop his shoulder back in place. He hides the pain from it. And then Wonder Woman happens upon him to fix him. Like, the entire time he's in there talking to those people about their problems and how to fix things, he's feeling that dislocated shoulder. But he hides it because he's Batman. I think that's freaking awesome. Great. The Superman open shirt glasses off at the end of the movie. Best thing in that whole freaking movie. I mean, it only took us 2.5 movies to get there.
There's something I forgot. We saw shades of the real Alfred, just briefly. A little smart-ass comment he made, remember?
Oh, about
I don't remember
dating?
what it was, but it was.
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
"Here we go, finally."
You have a
forgot
date.
about
It's
that.
about time someone had one around here.
Yeah, he's a good Alfred too.
He has potential.
See, that stuff didn't do it for me.
He has potential.
And I actually felt Batman showed his weaknesses far more than he hid them. But that's just me.
That whole sequence there I was impressed by. Like something's bleeding. Okay, that's for funny. There's no meaning behind that line whatsoever. But whatever. As far as the rest of it's concerned, I mean, Momoa's explanation Aquaman's explanation of Aquaman's powers, trash. You're gonna make him have water powers, like he manipulates water and bends it. I feel like that's a different character. Like we were talking about before with Tsunami.
That'd be hydrokinesis.
Right. That's an entirely different thing. It's not Aquaman.
He has had those powers before, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, and you gotta
But
understand
it's not the same thing.
that a film is never going to be the same. There's always going to be some cheats, like the lightning from Flash, the water manipulation for Aquaman. If this is a cheat that they do, I can live with it. Better than him riding a giant seahorse.
I want that, though. Too, so.
I knew Ross was going to say that as soon as you said
dude,
that.
that sends him back to the Stone Age.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa on the giant seahorse.
That would be pretty impressive.
I'm
He's
sure he'd be
Hulk
all
riding-
over that,
riding the
too.
cameras.
I'd rather him have a battle squid. I'm just saying.
They'd be
What's your
riding
score,
backwards
Steve?
the whole time.
It's true. Did I not give it a score yet? Gosh, man. I don't know, 3.5. That's a little better than Thor, but I just don't think there's as much acceptance to the mistakes in Thor because of how far along they are in their pictures. Like, you want to compare this Justice League to the first Avengers? Okay, that's close enough. I guess you can say that. Except that there's like 3 other Avenger movies before we get to Avengers.
Yeah, I wouldn't compare it because it's not in the same league.
Not the same thing at all.
I would disagree there, but I would say the Avengers had, like you're saying, they had like 4 other movies where you got to know the characters before they were
you had
in
whole
there.
movies that explain the characters. You had 2 Iron Man movies. You had a Captain America movie. Guys, took me a minute to get that out of my mouth. 1 Thor movie. So, like, as far as setup's concerned, what they spent in this movie on those pieces, if they had the other movies underneath them already, you would never have to spend it. The Flash being broken because time doesn't make any sense. And I'll give you, like me and Ross have talked about this kind of a lot, an idea that when the mother dies, it's a lightning bolt from the Speed Force hits him. Okay, that's a cool idea, but still like, oh, you know, it doesn't fit in our story. Our Flash doesn't make any sense. So instead of making a new Flash, Doug Jones as an example, Flash, we take Barry Allen's origin story because Barry Allen's origin story is better than Wally West ever was. And without Barry Allen, you don't get Wally West. Then you take Wally West, who's funny, and everybody's seen the cartoons and doesn't know he's different, and then use that and mix it together, and you get this other Flash.
Barry West.
Exactly. Brand new Flash, Barry West.
Wally Allen.
That's not as good at Barry West. I like better.
Okay.
Anyway, I mean, it's just as good as the lightning spider bites him in the science experiment. Or no, the science class tour, there you go. At the precinct, at the jail, whatever. The
Which
idea that
is the job that he just got at the end of the movie.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because Batman did it for him.
Timeline's broken.
Accomplishes
Doesn't
nothing for himself.
Do anything in there at all. Not that he couldn't study quick. I mean, he's the Flash. So, and he was building his own experiment in the garage when the accident happened. I'm not saying he was cooking meth, but maybe he's cooking meth. You never know.
My argument's been this whole time is that you don't need the chemicals necessarily. I think you can make it just be about the lightning.
And given, like, back in the day when they originally wrote it, there wasn't forensic science shows on every freaking network. And so the chance of what chemicals would have been in there were
Who knows
bleach,
what they use, yeah.
water bleach mix, sulfuric acid. So just things that would make fire. So ultimately, all that should happen is he burned alive or turned into fire guy. So back in the day when they put him in a science lab, the idea of what was in there was more mystical.
Like, I think ultimately, you know, it was the lightning anyways. I mean, ultimately.
Sure.
So, I don't know.
I don't think you need him in the police lab, and I don't think you need chemicals. I think he was just struck by lightning. Speed Force lightning.
It doesn't match up with any of the comic book stories.
That's true.
So,
Neither does any of the rest of his character, though, really.
But how many people have been struck by Speed Force lightning?
Who knows?
And why pick him?
That's a good question.
Something has to coalesce into...
Well,
I have a theory to that.
I want to hear it.
pretty positive that it's... Yeah, go ahead.
Well, my idea is in the comics we've had a lot where Reverse Flash goes back to try to stop Barry Allen from becoming Flash, and instead causes
it.
Basically. So my idea is that you probably have some crazy time travel thing here where Reverse Flash goes back to try to stop him and instead creates him.
Normally I love it.
But how did he first initially get created? Because there has to be a point where he's created in order for him to go
Giant
back.
time circle, Curtis.
That doesn't make sense to me.
It's just like Terminator 1 never had any more Terminators.
There has to be an initial incident that causes something in the future to come back.
His friend.
I think it's Bill and Ted time travel. Bill and Ted time travel allows that you tell yourself to remind yourself to put something there, and it'll just be there because you've already done it.
It's not a very good way of thinking of time travel.
No, because that's a perpetual loop.
Mm-hmm. It's Bill and Ted time travel.
It doesn't make sense. There has to be an initial event that causes something to happen. So then that initial
Only
event...
beside Giant Circle.
In this case, the initial event is Edward Twain, envious of the Flash, goes back in time.
But why is he envious of the
Colin,
Flash if he created him? And I understand your logic, and I get it. It just doesn't make sense to me. There has to be an initial event in order for him to go back to do something
Bill and
about it.
Ted time machine. I'm telling you, that's
Bill
what
and
it
Ted
is.
time
It's the
travel.
Bill and Ted time travel.
And I agree, but there was an initial event to start it, and then they went through and be like, oh, put this here, and then he goes back, oh, hey, tell me to put that there.
But that's the thing, right?
But there had to be an initial event for that to happen.
They always go back in time in Bill and Ted because the future was made by Bill and Ted.
No.
The future was already Bill and Ted's future before they ever got in the time machine.
But there's an initial point that happens.
Because
In other words,
time
there's
runs
no
on a
explanation.
line.
Well, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
No, the time travel isn't the best explanation of it by any means. It's the same reason why whenever I talk about Terminator, the John Connor we've seen has never been the original John Connor, except for the very first movie when he's like, buddy, I need you to go save my mom. And then he time travels, and that automatically just rolls that John Connor from ever existing. Because that John Connor was the son of a man from a truck stop that his mom worked at, that they got down in the back seat of a car, and it just turned out the kid came out badass. And he sends his buddy back in time. He's like, protect my mom, buddy. He's like, sweet, intercedes, and the original father doesn't ever stop at the truck stop, or doesn't hook up with the lady, and just keeps on driving.
I don't know what you just said.
Time travel is crazy.
I understand your premise of it, but how you explained it just blew my mind. And I could not follow it.
Maybe on the replay.
Trucker gets down with mom in the back seat. Why are they so sad? Why are they in the back seat of the car?
Because it's the 80s.
She was busy. He was busy. He had to make a delivery.
Right.
It just sounded really sad in the past.
Down because they were sad emotionally.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, no, that's not what I meant. Good on you, sir. Good on you.
It's like time travel.
Almost.
I would hope that my Flash idea or whatever prediction, I would assume it would have a better explanation.
My thing is this: if Flash gets struck by that Speed Force, becomes a Flash, Eobard Thawne in the future is pissed off that happened, and then he stops him from getting struck by the lightning, but in the process, the Speed Force follows him back to the past to trigger that Flash. I can see that happening.
That's basically what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think
circle.
Yeah.
But there's an initial incident that happened that caused
You would
something
think
in the
so.
future.
That's why Terminator's broken.
I think in the comic the explanation that they kind of give is the idea that the Speed Force itself is somewhat sentient, and it has reached out to people that were sensitive to the Speed Force throughout time. The problem is a lot of the people that it's reached out to, they're like lightning rods, but they're not grounded. So they gain this incredible speed, but at some point they lose touch with the rest of the world and they actually become a part of the Speed Force. Barry was just another one of the long line of people that was actually a lightning rod that could tap into the Speed Force. The big difference for Barry is that he finds things to ground him in this world. Things that make him not just float off. But for a film, can you explain that? No, because nobody wants to do the old Western, Speedster and the Max Mercury Speedster and the Jay Garrick Speedster, We're not going to get into that. So it probably makes better sense to go with the Reverse Flash angle. Or we just go, crazy lightning, super speed, shut up. Flash.
Yeah, right. I did, so...
Garage Meth Lab.
Sure, he was a homeless guy. Why not?
Thinking back about the Flash, there was one other line in there that was probably a throwaway line, but they ask him what his skills are or something, and he's like, oh, sign language. And he's like, Gorilla Sign Language.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah.
Gorilla God and the Gorilla City.
Pretty good.
Well, for being as new as he is, would he have even... I
think that was just a joke he was saying, but it makes you wonder if that'll...
I don't think that's even different, is it? Is it Gorilla Sign
No,
Language
it's the same.
as
It's
regular?
sign language.
Yeah, it's the same.
I think it was being funny.
It was just a joke, but it was kind of a cool tie-in.
He does have a fully made Flash suit, but my guess is, if you're going to go with a bigger, more theatric version of why the Flash has powers, he had to have at some point learned sign language while working with gorillas. He could have very easily been in an illegal lab. He was doing whatever he could to stay off the grid, to have enough money to help his dad get out of jail. Working in an illegal animal testing lab could be a really good possibility.
And I think he's still really smart, too. I think that
He's just talking.
they don't play into that a lot, but I think he's still a genius like he is in the books.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Another crazy...
I like the testing lab with the animals.
I kind of wonder if that was where that was going, because the first thought was Gorilla Grodd is for me as well, but that's kind of a plausible level. For me, anyways.
Yeah. Well, I just thought it was like a funny joke line. I don't know if he seriously meant he knew sign language at all, but another really cool thing is in the credits. The police officer that's talking to Commissioner Gordon is trying to be like, see this? It looks like Batman, and it's the parademon drawing.
Mm-hmm.
That's Crispin Allen, who becomes the Spectre in the books. So whether or not they actually ever do anything with that, they're probably not. But it's kind of a cool that they
It's
name
a cool
him.
catch in it, yeah. As far as like a Easter egg, it's a cool Easter egg. This is only Easter egg to the old movies and casting, but the guy who's the intake clerk at the prison that's talking to Barry, getting him to sign the form to go and see his dad, that guy playing that part is the original Jimmy Olsen from the first 2 Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
Oh.
That's who that actor is. And then I kind of think the line that he says, "Are those prescription?" with the glasses when he's making fun of the drawn-on face, I kind of think that's a line he had in the first movie.
Oh,
Yeah, I think so,
maybe.
too.
Yep, I could see that.
So, like, it's a pretty cool... I'd have to go back and watch those movies again to be sure of that, but it seems plausible. And I thought that was a pretty cool, like, Easter egg kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's neat.
Like I mentioned, there's a whole bunch of music ones in there, too, if you
Right.
listen for them.
Yeah.
More than the ones I mentioned. There's music nods to Man of Steel and, like, all the previous DC stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Take
It's kind
that
of like they
music.
used in that Flash TV show. They used the original Flash from the first TV show as
For
his
the
dad.
father, yeah.
Which was
That was more of a... Like, seeing the father in this movie, who was, like, probably one of the better actors in the movie.
Yeah, he was.
I was disappointed that it wasn't somebody that played the Flash before.
I was kind of wondering if they were going to do this.
I thought
the
that'd be
same
really cool
dad.
if they would use the same dad. If they would use the actor from the 90s TV show, I thought that'd been really cool.
They can't do that. They're trying to
It'd been
separate
freaking
that
awesome.
from-
I know they
Yeah,
wouldn't have, but I
no.
thought that would have been cool too. Yeah,
I agree.
Stupid as stupid does. It's Forrest Gump's mom always says. Stupid. Sallyfield action. Stupid.
The symbol means hope, damn it. Hope!
Oh,
Did Kevin Costner get paid for that damn scene?
hope so.
Freaking picture falling in the goo?
I hope he did. the man needs to get all the money he can get.
Why do you guys hate Kevin Costner?
I don't. I think he's great. Rob hates him.
I don't think he had any role in any other film after he died in the stupid tornado. That should have been the end of him. No flashbacks, no weird building a rock wall. If you're going to be weirded out by digging up a dead guy's body and then putting in freaking weird liquid, take the damn picture off his body. And why was it only him? No him and Martha? He only cared about his dad because he died in a tornado? What the hell?
His mom was still alive.
My
She
thought
didn't
is the
take
mom
picture.
put the picture there
Yeah.
when he died. Probably.
But she didn't put a picture of both of them?
No, her
not
son's
dead.
dead. She got to get rid of that
She
picture.
don't want to intern herself.
Tired of
I get
looking
you.
at her.
Only the dead can be buried. I
Yes.
guess.
Oh man, Pet Cemetery. Good stuff. Oh, okay. Mike, what'd you learn today?
I learned that Rob hates Kevin Costner.
Dang it, that's what I was going to say.
That's a good one.
I don't hate Kevin Costner. I'm just waiting for the obligatory naked butt shot.
It's also hilarious. Curtis, what'd you learn today?
Time travel is dumb.
Oh,
Bill and Ted. Just saying.
I like Bill and Ted. I just don't get the time travel thing.
Their theory of time travel is the most infuriating.
It doesn't work at all. But
but Bill and Ted Party.
But Legends of Tomorrow is the same way. It's kind of a Bill and Ted time travel. And Synchronicity. The Apocalypse, put it that way.
See, I haven't seen enough of.
The things they chase
Legends.
down in what you said it a second ago.
Apocalypse?
No, Apocalypse is something different.
Legend of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow is a TV show. They chase down inconsistencies,
Yes.
idiosyncrasies.
Anomalies.
Yeah. I don't see how that doesn't. That's not the same as Bill
Anachronisms is what you're
and Ted.
thinking.
Anachronisms. That's what I was looking for. This isn't the same as Bill and Ted at all.
Yeah,
but
it is, if you watch the show.
I've watched a fair amount of that show.
It's-
Maybe not the last season, all of it. Okay.
Okay, that's all I got, so
Okay.
you guys shut up.
All right. Time travel makes the brain hurty. Ross, what'd you learn today?
I learned that Rob's waiting for the obligatory butt scene.
For Kevin Costner. I think it's written to his contracts. I really do.
Back in the day, it was.
I think he was like, I gotta make it for Robin Hood. Still. It's ridiculous. Give it up. It's fine. Nobody cares. You had a butt double. It's done. We don't care anymore. We don't need to see it.
I've seen a movie called The New Daughter, and I didn't see his butt.
You're lucky, sir.
We weren't looking hard enough.
Well, I
that
saw
was-
his butt, but it was fully clothed.
That was probably cutting room floor. I tell you. I think it's a part of the film. He watched it and was like, "Where's my scene?" And they're like, "Oh, it's just time
God, I don't even remember.
time limits." Sorry.
I mean, in Waterworld, that he was naked, right?
I think we see the butt in Waterworld.
I guess I don't remember a lot of movies with Kevin Costner.
Better off.
It was weird there for a minute. I think he may be over it now, but you never know.
The
3
one
films.
with the baseball.
Field of Dreams.
Was he naked in that?
I don't recall that. That may have been before.
I think Field of
Robin
Dreams is
Hood.
before.
This
Robin
is a
Hood.
weird conversation. Moving on.
Didn't happen until after Robin Hood.
Moving on.
After Robin Hood, when the problem started. Rob, what'd you learn today?
Stephen Wolf has a man purse,
He should have one.
and when he gets called out about it, he just puts things in a wall just for the fun of it.
Nice. That's a weird thing to learn altogether.
Yep.
Rob, what did I learn today?
You learn that evidently, if you want to make a really scary bad guy, you just go ahead and take a random suit of armor, mix it with a CGI creation, and put an elf face on it, and you call it Steppenwolf.
It seems like an awfully hard lesson to learn. Awfully hard.
Either that, or you learn the crazy song from Thor that's stuck in everybody's head is the Immigrant Song.
For Foreigner?
By Led
No,
Zeppelin.
it's by Led Zeppelin. it's the Immigrant Song.
You didn't learn your lesson very well, Steve.
Well, that's because I'm learning your damn lessons for you. Back to the shed. I'm going to have to get hit again. And I forget English.
What are the learning sticks for? Learning stick. Yeah. God, well, that was a lot of nonsense. All right, well, hope we had a good Thanksgiving whenever you listen to this nonsense.
Yeah. Hopefully you listen to it while you're sleeping.
That's
After you
not
eat
a
turkey.
good idea.
That way you don't actually hear what we talk about.
Right.
No, you'll know really well. You'll think it's your own opinions. You'll be very confused in what you
Yeah.
think about the movie.
And you'll feel like an asshole.
That's the main thing. You wake up and you're like, why do I want to see Kevin Costner naked?
Why do I hate everything?
Whose pants are these? I don't know what's going on.
Aquaman's amazing.
That theater sucks.
Oh, but it's so comfortable.
Worst movies I've seen there ever. All right. I think that's it. I can't even think of books to watch at this point. My brain's hurting.
You can't watch a book.
That's true.
You have to watch a movie.
No.
Why not
Books
movies to watch?
It's not
Since this is a
the
movie
same.
thing.
Check out
Movie to
the-
watch.
check out-
okay.
check
so
out The Punisher.
Upcoming
There
movies
you
to
go.
watch. Mike already got The Punisher next.
Aquaman
That's not a movie.
It will be.
Close enough.
in 2018.
Not yours, his.
Oh.
He said The Punisher. That's not a
They're
movie.
like mini
It-
movies.
If you want it to be, it will be.
Mini
If you want
movies.
to watch them, they're out there.
Mini movies.
That's not the one he's talking
Netflix.
about.
Enjoy that stuff before Disney takes it away and turns it into PG-13 nonsense.
Oh.
Of course, Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, Star Wars
Last
coming
Jedi.
out. Yeah.
And there's a new Jurassic Park rearing its head. It's crazy dinosaur bonehead.
Unlike Kevin Costner's rearing his rear.
And the Grandmaster's in it, I hear.
The Jurassic Park?
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Okay.
Hey,
Supposedly
that's
back.
Sweet.
makes perfect sense.
I doubt Kevin Costner's in it, though.
No, I doubt so,
Yeah,
too. But you know what? He's going to be back in the next friggin' Justice League movie for some reason.
There's going to be a picture on the wall and Robert's going to lose his shit.
Probably. I'm probably going to walk
They
out
better
of the
not have
theater
paid his blankety-blank butt.
like- walk out of the theater like, why? Why is Kevin Costner in this damn movie again?
Why is he in a sauna?
One of these days, in your travels, you're going to run into. He's going to be at a theater. He's going to be sitting in front of you, and when he gets up to leave, he's going to have his bare ass.
I'm sure he will.
Why would you wear chaps to the theater?
He probably just goes to movies like that.
I don't think that it's unlikely.
Take that, Robin Hood. He's still saying that.
His role in the new Jurassic Park is he thinks he's a dinosaur, so he just runs around naked all the time.
Makes perfect sense.
You try to never break
Pet Cemetery 4. He just jumps out of the ground naked.
We don't bury him with clothes.
He thought he was a dog. It said Pet Cemetery.
This is not going to go away.
My favorite part is how he skipped over Pet Cemetery 3 and went straight to 4.
Well, we gotta set up him being there first.
Yeah, he's got to be naked in that one first.
Shower scene, and then.
Well, they are giving it the reboot treatment.
Yeah, that's what it gets.
I hope the reboot starts at 4, though. Pet Cemetery just says the number 4 underneath it.
Oh, okay. I don't see why not. Rob, movie to watch for?
Oh,
You already said Star Wars.
Star
Did you?
Wars.
You said Star Wars, that's right.
That's
Curtis,
Star
did you
Wars
say
and
one?
Jurassic Park.
No,
Curtis?
I don't have any.
No? Not anything coming out soon that you're thinking is
What
gonna
about
be
something
good
that
for
came out already?
you? Sure.
Stand Against Evil. It's on
Stand Against Evil,
IFC.
TV show also, but yes,
Awesome.
it's great. Fantastic. Stand Against Evil.
And
You
Star
ever-
Trek Discovery.
Okay. That's a good one.
That's all I
I'm
got.
gonna say Black Panther. Stand Against Evil though, it's awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, you should definitely watch that thing if you get a chance.
It's like
if you
the
like
Evil-
Evil Dead
yeah.
and ever liked Scrubs, it's a great show for you.
Never liked Scrubs?
Ever liked Scrubs,
Oh, okay.
the TV show? Dr. Cox, he's awesome.
I don't get a lot of hope for Black Panther, actually.
I do. I think it's going to be great. That actor that played Creed, whose name I don't... what's the guy's name? That played Creed in the Creed movie?
Michael Jordan.
No.
It's like that.
I
but
think
it's
that is
not.
his name,
Oh.
actually.
No. Is
See,
it?
I immediately went like,
That's
No, it's
basketball?
Bozeman.
No.
Chadwick Boseman.
No. No, he's right. It is something
I'm
Jordan.
telling you, it's Michael
Michael
Jordan.
B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. There you go.
Who's playing Black Panther?
No, he's playing the lead villain in Black Panther.
Oh, I was talking about Black Panther. That's Chadwick
the
Boseman.
guy. Oh,
well,
yeah. there
maybe
you go.
that'd be a better fit for him than the Human Torch,
Well, that's probably true. When he was in Creed, he
which
was
I still
awesome.
have not seen that, and I never will.
You're better off.
It's on Netflix.
oh, okay.
Hurts the soul.
That's one that I just say a lot of people could just pass.
Are
You
you
know,
right?
normally I would say like check it out because it's a superhero movie and you just should. But Fantastic Four, yeah, that's one you can pass pretty easy.
Entirely skippable.
Unless they make a director's cut,
No,
because I would like to see that.
absolutely not.
I'd love to see what they actually were trying to do.
Didn't that director direct the last Star Wars?
No.
Eddie Trunk or whatever
He
his name is?
he was slated to direct a Star Wars, and then after that movie came out, they said no.
Yeah, they kicked him.
See, destroy him.
He was doing the Han Solo one.
Yeah,
if
supposed
I
to be.
remember right.
Now he's
No,
been
that was,
replaced by somebody else.
The Han Solo one was originally the Lego
Ron
movie
Howard.
people.
Oh,
Ron Howard's
okay.
doing it now, yeah.
Ron Howard's doing a Star Wars movie?
He's doing the Han
Han Solo
Solo.
movie.
Seriously?
Yep.
Oh, beautiful crap.
Right?
God.
Merciful.
Of course, though, he was picking up the pieces from the 21 Jump Street guys.
Yeah,
Lego movie.
same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, are they the same people?
21 Lego movie guys.
Yeah, I who thought that was a good idea? I don't know.
I like 21 Jump Street just fine. I've done that so much in 22.
But it's
Not
Lego
for Star
Drive,
Wars.
guys.
oh,
Lego
not for Star
Drive.
Wars.
Yeah.
Are they the same dudes?
Yeah.
The guys who did 21 Jump Street did the Lego movie. I've never seen 21 Jump Street, and I don't think I will.
21's alright. 22's
Whatever.
not so great.
The Hateful Eight's a different story. Talking about numbered movies.
Yeah. So it is a very different story. That's true.
You've seen that?
Oh my
Hateful Eight?
god.
I
Okay.
enjoyed it. He hated
I'm going
the
to
hell
say
out
that
of
that's a then
Really?
nonsense.
Yeah.
Keep?
See,
Key.
Did you hate it because you saw it in that theater?
No, it was before theater. Before that theater.